What's up guys? Kit Dale here, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt and amateur model painter. Miniature models, not real. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has been around about 100 years, but wrestling has been around thousands. Now if you look at the Russian wrestlers in particular, they're known for their ability to control their opponent's arms and hands. They set up almost everything off arm control. Now if you look at Jiu-Jitsu, we were never taught how to control the hands or arms. We knew underhooks and overhooks, but that's about as far as it goes. It's a very basic understanding of controlling the arms. The Russians have an advanced system that they've been using for hundreds and hundreds of years that is so much better than anything I've ever seen in Jiu-Jitsu. I've been lucky enough to train with some of the best Russian wrestlers, and I've been able to take what they've taught me and apply it into my Jiu-Jitsu game, and it's made my Jiu-Jitsu so much better. And not just better, but more enjoyable. For the first time in my Jiu-Jitsu career, I'm able to control my opponents effortlessly. Instead of using strength or underhooks and overhooks, I can control their arms and almost play them like a puppet. Today I want to show you guys how to use the Russian wrestling concepts, ideas and techniques and apply them into your Jiu-Jitsu to make your Jiu-Jitsu so much more enjoyable and so much better. Okay, so I'm going to show you right now the gripping system that I learned in wrestling and how we're going to apply it to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. First off, the system, I'm going to use my friend Josh here to help explain that. Josh is a purple belt under me, one of my first students, and he plays music or some shit. What I'm going to do is look at this gripping system here. So the first things I learnt with the Russians is using a 2-on-1 gripping system here. Okay? The Russians are known for, let's say, being in this position here and being really good at breaking it down and controlling the arms. This 2-on-1 opens up a lot of different options from here. From here I could easily bump him forward, go to his back. I could use this, if he's trying to push my face away and square up to give himself enough leverage to pull that out, what I could use this is this against him. So he goes to push me up, I bring my leg in here, I use this arm to bump this arm off, pull him over the top, and then I have a takedown. I can also, when he's pushing my face away, reach up here, grab the arm, lock this as I've shown in the gripping masterclass, and have a good control here. From here, once again, I can use it to go towards his back. The arm drag position. A basic arm drag position is I'm getting this arm, I'm removing that from the equation so that I can make my way to his back. Now what I would do a lot of the time to set this up is I would either hold his hand, okay, to stretch this out. I would lower my body position so that he has to lower his, otherwise his legs will be open. And what I use is my other hand to come through here. I pull him towards me and me to him. I move this arm out of the way and I come straight to his hip. I grab his hip because he's going to try and circle towards me and run away from me. But if I have his hip, I have him locked. Then once again, I lift this up, straight on the back, and I can bump him over. Now I'm going to show you how to use that gripping system in your guard for Jiu-Jitsu. The reason why I like the Russian gripping system is because what it does is it takes away the two things that are usually blocking me from getting to his back, his arms. When we're in any kind of position, whether it's butterfly guard, a great attacking opportunity for me would be to take his back. It's one of the best places to finish anyone from. There's only two problems. These things, okay? They are going to stop me from getting to his back. They're the main things that will stop me. His legs may stop me as well. Let's say if I take away one of his arms, then he may bring this leg in here to block me from going to his back. Because if he didn't, and his leg's back there, there's nothing now stopping me from getting this leg out, going towards his back, and taking his back and finishing him. I'm not saying it's going to be so easy, but that's the idea of it. Now, the Russian system specializes in controlling the arms. If I can control the arms, then I can make it easy for myself to get to his back. Or, secondary, I use the arms to go towards the back, and then he uses the legs to block me, so then I can use that for a sweep, which I'm going to show you how to do now. With this position, I'm going to start in butterfly guard, but you can also use Z guard for this, you can use half guard for this, and you can use close guard. The same principles apply. There's going to be a slightly different variation to the application, but it's quite simple. The thing I really want to focus on is controlling the arms, and then we go from there. So whether we start from close guard, butterfly guard, or Z guard, it's simply a preference for yourself. Once you master one way of doing it, you can use any position to do this, and even stand up. So here, I'm in butterfly guard, okay? I have the two arms that I want to control. Now I'm going to go for either one of them depending on what he's doing. But the first one I'm going to go for is the 2-on-1 position. Now from here, I'm simply going to grab one of his arms, which isn't too hard. Usually his arms will be floating around somewhere anyway. I grab his arm here. Now note, the way I grab his arm, I'm not grabbing like this at the moment, okay? The reason why I don't like grabbing like this is his main escape for this is to pull his hand back to himself. Why do you think that would be his main escape? Because he has more strength in his bicep than what he does in his rear deltoid. His bicep, not Josh's particularly, but his bicep's usually quite big compared to his rear deltoid. So if I'm holding his arm here, the biggest way for him to escape, or the strongest, is for him to pull up like that. And when I'm holding in this position, I only have my thumbs blocking him, okay? So it's going to be easy for him to pull that way. If he was going to try and escape the other way by pulling his arm back, with my fingers clamped behind him, it's going to be quite hard, okay? Even if you're just trying to pull that back over here, it's going to be very difficult. I could probably use 2 fingers, and Josh, I want you to hold your arm straight and try and pull your arm back like that. I could probably hold him with 2 fingers here. I have also got some quite strong fingers, as you can see. Regardless, he's using the rear deltoid, which is about this big, okay? It's one of the most undertrained muscles in jiu-jitsu because we're always doing this movement, okay? When you combine that with the rhomboids in the back, it gets a little bit stronger, but it's still not as strong as what his ability is to pull that up. So I want to make sure I block this section more than anything. So that's why I like to go thumb under grip, okay? Instead of this way, I go this way, okay? Now also my clamping parts, which is the thumb to the finger, are right around his wrist, which is the smallest part of his arm. Usually his hand is going to be bigger than his wrist. And if you find someone that's the opposite, that's a weird combination. I can't imagine what someone with bigger wrists and hands look like, but let's imagine they don't exist, please. Okay, I'm in this position, I hold like that. Now if Josh tries to pull this back, now it's a lot harder. If he tries to use his bicep to break this, near impossible. This grip is so much better. I changed almost all my grips to overhand grips now. I call them overhand grips rather than underhand grips. Because like I said, for him to break most of his grips is to slide out where he has a gap. When I have it this way, it's much harder. Even if he was to have the strength to get his arms back up here, I can go with him. Do you see what happens here? I can go with him because my hands are blocking that. The only way I can't go is if he goes all the way under that way. But let's say he does go all the way under that way, what does that open up? All this space under here for an underhook. So let's say I'm here, he starts pulling back here, I'm like, thank you, I've got an underhook. Great position, okay? So if he does overcommit to break it like that, I'm just gonna take an underhook. And with an underhook, I can do a whole sort of things. I don't even know if that sentence made sense. I can do a whole heap of things. If you're Australian, we use the word heap. I don't know if anyone else does. So now, you understand why we're gonna go for this grip here. Okay, so let's say I grab this first. I'm going to use 2-on-1 to control this. Now what I want to make sure is that he doesn't anchor his hand anywhere. If he can anchor his hand here or here, this is going to make things harder. That means now I have to break the grip before getting it over the top here. So when I do grab it, I always make sure that I'm misdirecting this from anything he can grab. Okay, he's going to try and grab something now, I'm moving it around. Now I don't need to use too much strength. It's not about holding really strong, it's about misdirecting it. If he starts pushing in to grab something, I just turn it this way. I'm just pushing out this way lightly. If he goes the other way to grab the other side, I push out that way. I go up. Doesn't matter. I don't want to hold it there because that requires strength. And we want to get away from using strength and using technique. I just want to misdirect that. Okay? So like I said, I just push it either this way, this way, this way, or this way. It's not hard. I usually don't push it that way, especially with Josh. So he's going to reach up now. He's trying to grab things. I'm just misdirecting it. And then when I'm ready, I'm going to change my grips to a 2-on-1 position. Okay, I'm going to go from his wrist here to under his armpit. Now we have the gi. I'm going to grab the slack under this part here. I'm going to grab that like this. Okay, see, a little to the bigger fingers. I grab that here because it's nice and strong. Okay, this is going to take away a lot of his leverage now. The reason why is before when I'm here, he has his whole arm to move around and to break this, and he can go take this in many different angles. But once I have this now I have a lot of his back as well. This is strong, okay? So if he's now trying to pull this back, now it's much harder. And this is really easy for me to hold. All this does is push this arm out here, and this holds. It's like this strong hand, and this is like the direction hand, okay? Direction with the D. Don't get excited, Josh. Now, I go from here, I'm misdirecting him, I get this. If I was doing no-gi, I would just grab under the armpit and I would get a nice grip on that. I'd understand that the skin does move a little bit, so I want to over-commit and then lock it up nice and tight. I don't bother grabbing the sleeves here. One, Josh has got the smallest sleeves in the world. Two, I think this is much better. It's much stronger and it translates to no-gi much better, okay? So I have this, I have the underneath, or if it were no-gi, I would just grab the arm. I'm gonna show you some no-gi stuff after anyway, but I grab here. Now I've got a very good position. Now what I've achieved is I've achieved control of this arm to be able to go towards his back, okay? But I'm gonna show you how to use this to sweep as well, not just attack the back. Once I get to this position now, and I've successfully got control of him, what I wanna do is I wanna break his back posture, okay? Because where he's sitting right now, he's still quite strong, okay? His back's got good posture, he can still potentially break this away. Where I want him is I want him down here, okay? Now his back's nowhere near as strong. Imagine this, okay? I'm just gonna move out of the equation right now. Imagine you're picking up something really heavy, Josh, okay? And you're sitting like that. So you grab something really heavy with both hands. What are you probably going to hurt right now? Your back. And you've done this a few times, haven't you?
Quite a few.
Okay, I don't know why. I don't know why he's picking up heavy stuff in this position, but at least he's picking. Anyway, if he's going to pick up something like this, it's going to be dangerous. If you were smart, how would you pick it up? Aha! You see what he does? He brings his hips forward, he aligns his back straight, his legs are now in the picture, and now he picks it up, okay? So the reason why I like him leaning forward is because now we're putting pressure on his lower back, which is not that strong, but when he's already postured up, he's quite strong. If you were doing weights and you were going to do those cable rows, you could sit here like this and you could pull a lot of weight. But if you were sitting over here doing that, you're going to hurt your back. So I'm going to use that against him. It's just simple body mechanics, okay? I have the 2-on-1 here. I go to the back of the grip, or if it is no-gi, I just grab the tricep. And now I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull him over the top of me, okay? I've pulled him over the top of me and I've selected a side to sit on. I'm not going straight to my back. As you see, I have this hand, so I want to start angling myself to go towards his back. If I was to just go flat here, this wouldn't really do a lot for me. He's still got a very good position and he could use this to fight his way back here. But when I'm on the side, the good thing about holding here is even if he is strong enough to posture up, he's going to take me with him, okay? Because the next grip I'm going to change is going to really make things hard for him. I'm going to go over the top and I'm going to grab either the gi here, if I can, or I just stick my fingers in his armpit here and I lock this nice and tight. For no-gi, I'd always put these 3 fingers underneath his armpit. I'd make sure I wash it afterwards though. I hold nice and tight, okay? Now what I've successfully done is I've successfully broken his posture down. He's leaning forward, he now has little strength to be able to get back that way. And even if he did, like I said, he would take me with him, I could stand up, I could literally just walk my way to his back. So that's not a problem when I'm going against really strong guys. So once again, we're here, I go the 2-on-1, if I have to break it off something I will, even if it's here, I break that, then I want to make sure that he doesn't re-anchor it. Okay, he's going to try and re-grab things, I just steer it away, okay? Which isn't that hard. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly change to the back of his tricep. I don't do this slowly. If I do it slowly, by the time I go, he's going to break this grip. Because I'm going for 2 1-on-1 control to 1. What I like doing is I like moving it over here a little bit first, then quickly going, grabbing it, locking nice and tight. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull him over the top of me. I may take it might be strong, I might need to go like, real quickly, and then I reach over, I grab material if I can, or I put my fingers in the armpit. If you were very clever, maybe earlier on, you might have already opened this up somehow so that when I get into this position, I can reach around and grab this lapel, which might even be better. I don't like to rely on the lapels myself because I like to be able to translate this into no-gi jiu-jitsu, transfer it into no-gi jiu-jitsu. So I prefer the fingers. Here, across, fingers in here. Now, this is where the fun part happens. This is where I have control of his upper body. I've taken away his ability to stop me going from his back. Now I just decide what I want to do. Do I want to take his back? Do I want to sweep? Is there a cameraman? Is this a competition highlight that I want to work on? This is all going to dictate what I do. Of course, if I'm just in a comp and no one's watching, I might just go here. Okay, I'll take his back. But I mean, if I'm here and I see there's a cameraman over there and I think this could be good for my highlight reel, I might do something a little bit more fancy. I might bring him right over the top here, switch my grip here, turn him halfway mid-air, and then take his back. Might be choking him in mid-air as well. That's up to you to do. So now I've gone over the controlling of this position. I'm going to show you a few different sweeps and a few different back takes that you can practice. Okay, now I'm going to show you a simple back take that you can use from guard using the Russian wrestling system of the 2-on-1. So I'm going to start in butterfly guard for this one. And what I'm going to do, the same thing, I'm going to get a 2-on-1 control with an overhand grip on his wrist. Whether I have to break it on something or pop it up here, doesn't matter, I do that. And then when I'm ready, I'm going to quickly transfer to the back of the tricep once again. Once I have this position here, I want to make sure I break down his posture. Because if his posture's strong, he still has strength here, okay? And I don't want to be using strength. I want to bring him to a position that he has no strength. So once again, I fall back, I pull him over the top of me here. As soon as I get in here, I'm going to reach around. I'm either going to grab something nice and tight, like a bit of gi here, or I get my fingers underneath his armpit and grab his lat, okay? Once I have this here, I'm going to do two things. I'm going to, one, pull my own arm back and put chest pressure on his elbow. And I'm going to pull my elbow in nice and tight here, removing any kind of space for him to get his elbow back. Now watch what happens as I do this. I put my chest forward, I bring this here, and I lock this back here. Now how do you feel there, Josh?
I'm being twisted.
You feel it's bad, and his arm's in a lot of issues as well. The more pressure I can put on my chest here, I'm not going to do it hard, but I can basically turn him in this position where he has to start facing away from me. If his elbow's nice and high here, I mean, too high is bad for him as well, but if it's nice and strong, he feels pretty comfortable here. But the more I turn him this way, if you can see, there's a bend in the arm, the more I turn you that way, what do you want to do with your chest? You want to start facing that way, don't you? Which is going to give me more exposure to his back. So I'm here, I bring this here. If I can, I start putting pressure here. I'm grabbing it. Now, watch what I do with my foot position. This is super important, okay? I'm going to bring my left leg on the outside of his thigh now. Josh, if you sit back here, you can see I'm going to change from my left leg on the inside to the outside, okay? My other foot's going to be here, so I bring this in here and lock that here. It's going to be very important for me to have this leg here right now, okay? So once again, I have him forward, I've broken his posture, whether I've got the gi or my fingers in the armpit, doesn't matter. I bring this left leg out and I put it on his thigh. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to hip escape and I'm going to use my right arm to pull him in towards me. I'll show you in slow motion. I hip escape out, I keep my left leg on the ground, I'm using my right foot to push my weight out, and now I'm going to pull him towards me here. As I pull him in, my right leg quickly goes over the top, he keeps turning, left leg over the top, over under grip position, and I've taken his back. I'm going to show you a little bit quicker now. This position, pop, redirecting if it is trying to grab something, go to the 2-on-1. Pull him back, grab the lat here, left leg on the outside of the thigh, I hip escape out. At the same time I hip escape out, I'm using that leverage generated to pull him into me. Right leg goes over the top, left leg, this arm, up, lock on nice and tight. And if there's a camera, you look straight into it and smile. Okay, I'll show you around the other way. Grip, break, misdirect it. When you're ready, 2-on-1. I pull him forward, reach over the top and grab him here. Now, my left leg grabs here. I hip escape out here. I bring him forward, pull him. Right leg, over the top, left leg, and we land over here. Note one thing. Sometimes it's not going to be super easy to get the hooks in when you take the back. But don't worry about that. You can take your time to get that. What I mean by this, sometimes I might use this sweep. I get the back here, I come around, and he's got his knee really high, and I feel like I can't get in. It doesn't matter. You don't have to get this straight away. Either way, I've got his back. The moment I have his back, I'm going to start setting up chokes already. Because while he's focusing on me not getting my hooks in, his attention is being divided. And this is where it's a good opportunity. As I'm trying to get this and he's trying to block my leg, start getting a choke in already. Maybe I get a double lapel choke, choking before my legs get on there. Maybe I go further this way and then I start choking. My point is, you've taken the back. Now for the points, you might want to get the hooks, but it does take a little bit of work. So play around with that, find different ways of getting those hooks in. Now I'm going to show you a different back take, a more advanced back take, which is good for highlight reels. Now I'm in this position here. I do exactly what I did in the first one. I get an overhand grip on his wrist and I break the grip. I make sure that he isn't able to grab something using misdirection, okay? Not strength, just using intelligence, okay? Then when I'm ready, I go to a 2-on-1 again. Once again, I get a grip underneath the armpit here on his sleeve. This will lock him nice and tight to me. If there is no sleeve and it's no-gi, I would simply grab the tricep, which is a really good position here. Once I have him in this position, I want to bring his weight forward. I want to break his posture. Okay, to do that, I'm just going to fall back and bring him with me. But you see, I bring him to the side. As I bring him here, I hip escape a little bit to the side because I want to create an angle for me to get towards his back. Now I've taken away his ability to stop me from going to his back. This is the fun part. Before, what I showed is by grabbing around the wrist here, okay? And I pulled him back. Let's imagine we decide, instead of grab that, we have the gi. I'm gonna go straight to his belt now, okay? Which is a really good position because this gives me the ability to really elevate him a lot more. I can still elevate him on here, but for me to elevate him really easily, I need to bring his weight forward. And if he starts hip escaping his weight backwards, it can be hard for me to get leverage. See, if Josh is able to get that far back, like you did, Josh, it's hard for me to bring him up with these hooks. Okay, I'm just using this quad. I'm generating leverage from my foot on the ground to elevate him up here. So the further his weight is back there, the harder it is for me to get him up in the air, okay? If I grab his belt though, and I pull him here, now it's harder for him to get his weight back there. This is a lot better for me to bring his weight forward. This grip is good for me to keep him nice and tight to stop him from getting his elbow back in, but this grip here is good for me to keep his weight forward. Now watch what I'm gonna do from this position here. I'm gonna pull his weight forward now, and I'm gonna do the exact same thing I did before with switching the grip, the foot position. I'm gonna go from inside his leg, I'm gonna underneath my right leg, and I'm gonna hook on the outside of his left leg once again, blocking him from being able to move this way. This is going to become very important for what I'm about to do, okay? Because once I have this grip here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fall back in the air and I'm going to use both of my legs to lift him here. You see what I did then? I fall back. I'm going to use the leverage generated by falling back. My weight goes to my back and I use this. I bring my knees towards my chest. So from this position, don't try and extend your legs out here. You're not going to have that strength. Bring your knees to your chest. So it brings his weight forward, then extend your legs up. You see the difference? This is me just trying to extend my legs, okay? Not strong at all. This is me bringing my knees to my chest, then extending him here. Ah, look at that. Much easier. Now I have him here. What I'm gonna do is two things. I'm gonna use my right arm to twist his body towards me here, and I'm gonna use my left leg to kick him straight, and I'm gonna use my right leg to switch to a hook on the other side. Watch. Boom. I grab that. Once again, I get the back position here. I recommend you doing this when they have a camera because it looks great as a highlight reel. That was great too. I'm going to show you that again. Okay? Here, break this. He tries to grab, I misdirect it. I get 2-on-1. Break his posture. Grab the belt this time. Okay? I change position to a cross position on his thigh. I bring his weight forward. I bring my knees to my chest. And then I extend, switching him here. Get both hooks over, and finish there. One thing I'm going to add to that is that you can change the grip position later than what I showed then. Once I've got the 2-on-1 and I've broken his posture successfully, I don't always need to change this straight away. Maybe you feel like you can't get enough leverage by falling back and pulling forward. If not, elevate him first. Generate leverage from the ground with your left foot into the right. Bring him forward. Elevate first, then catch this, then switch this, and take the back if you like that better. I do both, depending on what he's doing. Now I'm going to show you a really nice sweep using the same Russian 2-on-1 gripping system. Once again, I'm here, I'm starting from butterfly guard. I get my hands here, I break this grip, I misdirect him from re-gripping, and then I bring him to the side where I go 2-on-1, I fall back, cutting an angle, breaking his posture here. Now he doesn't have much strength left in him, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the belt or under the armpit. The choice is yours. If it was no gi, I would go under the armpit, but since he has a belt, I might as well use the belt. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna do a normal, it's like a normal butterfly guard sweep, but I'm gonna take him straight over the top here, okay? I'm basically gonna fall back, bring his weight with me, use this right leg to elevate him here, and then come on top. You don't always successfully land on mount, okay? I usually, depending on what he's kind of doing, will dictate where I land. But if I land on the mount here, great. I might even take his arm and break it. Show that again. Once again, wherever his hand is, if it's here, wherever, I break this first. Boom. And I've got the good grip here. I misdirect it, come here, go 2-on-1, bring him forward, okay? Grab his belt now. Now I use my left leg to generate leverage from the ground. I'm going to use my right to elevate him. Make sure you do the same thing. Don't just extend the right leg. Bring the right knee to your chest. Bring his weight forward, then extend. It's much easier for me to elevate by extending my right leg when he's over the top than when he is back here. So I'm here, I bring him over the top. Do you see where my right knee is here? Now I use this to elevate. Up in the edge. He goes over, I keep control of this arm here, okay, which is really important. Then I land wherever I can. Now I'm in side control, and this is great for me. Right here, I can set up a head arm control, boom, finish nicely, okay? Show another angle of this. Boom, break, misdirect, 2-on-1, pull him, grab this. I pull him over the top. I extend here. Now, I come on top here. Grab a hold, and finish here. I want you to notice two things in this that are quite important. One, I do roll over my neck. So if you have back problems or you don't have that kind of flexibility, probably change this a little bit or don't do it, okay? This is only if you can do that. The other thing is, this grip on the left hand, I keep that the whole time, okay? I want to show you why. There is a section when I'm sweeping him that I don't really have great control of him here, okay? Where I get to this position here, and I sweep him over the top. The last thing I want is to let this go here, and he grab my leg, and then he can pass and attack me here. So I must keep that control the whole time until I secure the top position. And there will always be a slight little scramble there, so don't be afraid to experiment and play with that position, okay? Really important thing for you guys to know with this gripping system is the gripping system works standing. It works from butterfly guard. It works from Z guard. It works from close guard. Once you get the hang of the gripping system, you can start changing your guards. So don't think that you have to just do it from butterfly guard. Start with Z guard. Start with close guard. It all works the same thing. The most important thing is how you control the arms. If you control the arms, then your legs are free to start doing what they want. I'll show you some examples of how I change position with this gripping system. If I have the butterfly guard here, and I go to the arm drag position, okay, or the fishing pole, what I do now, if I want to go to Z guard, I hip escape out a little bit, I kick my leg on the outside, and I bring my knee on the inside here, okay? If I have the 2-on-1 position from here, and I go to this spot here, as long as this is super tight here, so he can't bring his elbow on the inside, as long as this is like that, now I've got freedom to start changing around. Okay, now I can just hip escape out, bring the knee through here to a Z guard. I can bring it through here to, I don't even know what the name of this is, but I use it a lot. I bring it across here, so I can change these positions. I might even just hold his arm here and come towards his back, over under, double unders from the back, turn him over. As you can see, as long as the grips are good, you can turn him over. Close guard. Now, I never use close guard. One, I've got short legs and they're stocky. Two, I had a knee injury, so I don't like using it. But if I was to use close guard, we're in this position here. 2-on-1, bring it across here. Open up, grab the armpit. Hip escape out, take his back. Choke him, eye gouge. There's so many different things I can use that. So make sure that work the gripping system so well that you can take people down, you can change the guard position for where you want to go, and you can win. Bang. Now, when working your guard with this gripping system, the most important thing is that it's against people that pass low, usually with their knees on the ground and stuff like that. If my opponent's passing really high, probably not going to do it. I'm going to attack the legs. And there's not much you can do about that. If Josh is passing and he's standing really high and his arms are so far away, I'm not going to be like too one-dimensional and think I need to get his arms and stuff like that. Maybe I do. Maybe I stand up and then collect his arms. But if his arms are so far away like that and he's bringing his legs, then I'm going to start attacking his legs, which I'm going to have a product for you guys soon for people that do pass standing. But this is primarily for people that pass low. There is so many leg lock guys at the moment that people are getting scared and they're starting to pass on their legs a lot of the time. More like old school guys used to pass on their knees, sorry. In this case, this system is perfect. But if they do pass high, you need something different. I will have a product for that, but I would advise you to check a lot of inside De La Riva or De La Riva style guards. I want to talk to you guys about something that's super important that completely revolutionized my guard game, my stand-up game, is the grip fighting. I used to think that when you had grips, you had to have strong grips, like you had strong hands to do that. I don't have very strong hands. I know they're big and they look good, but they're not very strong, okay? I've actually got so much damage done to my hands from jiu-jitsu that I just can't have strength in it. It's not about strength, it's about being malleable and understanding the proper principles of where you're holding your grips. Now, like I spoke about earlier, I find it more beneficial for me to hold a grip like this than what I do like this, because he's stronger in the biceps and he can escape that way. His rear deltoids are small. Have you ever done weights and you pull weight back like that? If I hold you both like this, bring your hands back. Very weak. But if I did the same thing here and I want you to bring your hands up, he's stronger, a lot stronger like that. So I know that he's going to be weaker breaking it this way. Plus, if he does break it that way, what does he give me? Underhook. Okay, really good. So I don't mind him trying to overcommit and escape like that. If I had both here, he starts trying to escape both of them, I'm like, thank you, double underhook, great position, okay? If
If he tries to go up the top and escape up the top, I can follow him. But once again, see what he did? He goes back here. Thank you. Double underhooks. Someone that's good is going to really try and avoid that, because against someone that's equally skilled, you're in trouble when they get double underhooks. So this is why I like the overhand grips a lot better. Underhand grips is cool, but he's going to be able to break him off really quite easily. Here, if he goes right to the edge, I can go with him. Be malleable. Don't hold really tight. Hold just as loose as you can. If he starts moving around, I can move. So let's say he does, you start trying to move around to all areas. I'm very soft with him. I can go with him as long as I'm soft. The moment I'm really tense, now I'm going to start losing stuff. And I'm going to use energy. So nice and relaxed, and let him go to bad spots. Boom. Okay, lock that on. Be nice and soft with those grips. One detail that's really important when using the gripping system, the 2-on-1 Russian gripping system for the Z guard, is that when I have this 2-on-1 and I bring him forward and I grab the back of his armpit here, I have to make sure that I don't leave space under here. If I leave space under here, it's going to be quite easy for him to pull his elbow in on the inside and get away from that. I don't want that to happen, okay? So if I am going to here, one of the most important things for me is to really suck my own elbow into my own hip. So now I'm nice and tight here. So now even if I let this arm go, try and get that elbow, he can't. So I've just got this one thing here. I can sit here like this, I can watch TV, it's hard for him. And the moment I want, gone. Josh, come back. Okay, so we're going to go to this new gripping position that I've been using. Okay, this is when I have a 2-on-1 gripping position. Let's say I get the 2-on-1 from here, and I've got this nice 2-on-1. A common defense to this is they push my face and my neck away to square up and then slide the arm out. Okay? What I want to do is I want to counter that. So when I have this and I pull into this position, he's going to do that. As he does it, I keep his, like see I'm holding nice and tight his right arm, I keep it nice and tight to me so it's hard for him to escape. If I can create a nice angle like this, it's very hard for him to escape no matter how slippery he is. So I'm here, I let this arm go for the moment, I go straight to this forearm and I pull it down into me, collapsing his arm. I shoot my right arm through and I lock his tricep here. Note that I make sure I keep my right elbow nice and high. If it's loose here, he will slide that other arm out and I'll have to change what I'm doing. I keep it here, nice and tight here. So now it's hard, isn't it, Josh? Now what I'm going to look at doing is I'm going to look at a throw, okay? I'm not going to tell you the Japanese pronunciation of it because I'm not very good with it, but I know how to do it. I'm going to look for, it's like a hip throw here, okay? I'm going to bring my left leg in here. I'm going to look at bringing his weight over my hip and kicking this bottom leg out. So I'm going to show you a little bit quick because it's hard to do slow. I come in here, okay? I bring his weight over my hip and I'm going to kick this out, okay? So here, and he's going to land straight here, okay? Then I drop back, straight into an arm lock. Okay, I'm going to show that again from this angle here. So I pick up the 2-on-1 from this grip here on my neck, I reach through, I grab the tricep. I'm going to turn my head this way, creating space to get this arm off. If I try and do it like that now, it's going to be locked. So I turn away and I pull him through to a 2-on-1. Now he's going to do that same defense. He's going to push away my face. I'm going to keep him nice and tight to me, reach up with my left hand, lock the forearm, go through with the right hand, lock the tricep. I bring my right elbow up. Now his posture is really bad. It's hard for him to get anywhere from here. Now I'm going to shoot in towards him, bring his weight over my hip like this, and kick the other leg out. So I'm here, like this, and I kick this. He's going to go over. I keep this arm. My right leg comes straight underneath his armpit. I pull back, left leg over his head before he comes up. Hold it. Pinch my knees together. Keep his thumb pointed up that way. Finish here. Finish here. Finish here. Finish here. Now I'm going to show you a sacrifice fall that I learned through judo and how I've applied to use it to finish on the ground. Now I'm going to finish it with a triangle, but don't be too attached with that. Try it. Worst case scenario, you get a takedown. Best case scenario, you get a submission as you take him down. I'm going to show you how to do this right now. Same position, I'm always looking to get this 2-on-1. Whether it's just here and then I lock on, it doesn't really matter. Sometimes I get here where I grab the forearm, grab the tricep, turn away, pull him into me. Sometimes we'll just be hand fighting here. I'll just grab his hand, 2-on-1 like I showed earlier with the overhand grip, pull him towards me, go here. Okay, it doesn't matter.
Once I have him in this position here, what I'm going to look at doing is look at going to his armpit here. To do that, I must have pressure pulling this left arm towards me here. I pull my left arm here and I push my belly into him a little bit. It's creating a little bit of a bend on the forearm here, okay? Nice and tight here. And I go over the back. Now I've got his weight. I have this position here nice and tight now, so it's hard for Josh to get away from me. What I'm going to look at doing is I'm going to look at stepping in towards him because I want to be like a rock under a seesaw. I'm going to step in here like that. I step, left foot comes in here, my right foot goes to the inside of his thigh. I'm going to use this to propel him, okay? Left foot here, right foot here. I now drop my left butt to the ground, my left butt cheek, kick him over the top, okay? Once I have him here, I'm going to turn towards him here. Now, if he didn't step up to like turn towards me, I would just take this takedown and come up. If he does, this left leg goes straight over the top. I catch my leg here, lock it on, finish either a triangle or an armbar. I've got thick legs. I don't do triangles very often, and I've had a knee reconstruction, so I also don't like them. But it's there available for you to practice, okay? I'm gonna show you one more time. Go for the other side. I like to get the 2-on-1 from here, bring it across here, nice and tight. Now I reach, grab the armpit, I step in here, I throw him over. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep him nice and tight here. My right leg is gonna come underneath him here, pull him into me. So now I'm in this position here, my left leg goes over the top, catch my left leg, lock on the triangle, or if you can't get the triangle, just lock on the legs or switch to an arm lock. There's so many different options here. You need to play around with that. Don't be too linear with, this is the only way to do it. There's like 50 variations you can do from there. Play around with them. Now I'm going to show you a no-gi technique to use. Now, the reason why I use this in no-gi is because the ashigarami is legal in most no-gi competitions. In the gi, there's not many competitions that allow that, so I'm going to show you how to do this. So this is a great entry for setups for people that like leg locks, okay? Personally, I don't like it, but each to their own. So in this position, I'm going to do the exact same thing as what I did in the gi. I'm always looking at controlling his arm. I don't always have to grab it when I'm in this position though, okay? I'm going to show you another way I can grab this position. Sometimes when I'm in butterfly guard and I've cut an angle to the side, I can sit here. And I'm always making sure that he doesn't get an underhook if I don't want him to have an underhook. And a good way to get this is when they're trying to get the underhook. Let's say he's trying to push that here. I grab his wrist, 2-on-1 again, to this position here. So I can get that while I'm trying to feed or defend it. Sometimes I might be trying to get an underhook on him and he's trying to block it nice and tight. Let's say you're blocking, okay? And he's blocking this nice and tight. I grab the wrist, 2-on-1 again. So I can find it while fishing for an underhook, and I can find it when he's fishing for an underhook. Bang. I make sure I keep no space here. If I have space and it's too far, then it's gonna be hard. Then I've got to try and recover this kind of stuff, which is possible, but it's a lot of work. I prefer to just be blocking it here. He's trying to get it in, grab it, whack, here, okay? So you can get it while you're sitting forward, here, and you can get it while you're sitting back here, okay? So, just to keep it consistent, we're gonna go for it while we're sitting forward. I grab a 2-on-1 overhand grip here. The reason why I grab this, I explained with the concepts at the start. I go for a 2-on-1. Now, this 2-on-1, I don't have the gi like I had before. What I want to make sure and understand is that his skin will move a little bit. You see how much movement he has here? So if I grab where I want to hold him and then it moves, it might be enough for him to pull that out, okay? Especially if it's wet or something like that. So I make sure I overcommit. I get as far as I can, then I lock on nice and tight. You see, I reach as far as I can, then when I grab it and I pull it now it's where I want it to be.
So this is tight. Try and pull that back now, Josh. It's good. Really tight grip. If he pulls back too hard, I'm going to go with him. Now, like before, what I want to do is I want to bring his weight forward. He's anchoring on this leg now, so he's going to try and use that to keep it forward. So I might just drop this and then bring him forward here, which brings him, breaks his posture. Once I have him here, he's using the lower back now, which is very dangerous. Like I showed earlier, if you're trying to pick up something heavy, bending like this, it's going to hurt his back. Okay, so the longer I'm here, and the more he's trying to pull forward, the better it is for me. He's going to use this energy. Now, what I do is I grip the armpit here, okay? I'm grabbing his lat. If you lift your arm up, Josh, for a minute. This muscle here, which is one of the strongest in the human body, I grab this nice and tight. That's what I'm locking onto. If they're super skinny, grab their rib cage. I don't care. But I'm going to grab right under here, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is a little bit different, okay? And it seems a little counterproductive to what I usually do. I'm going to bring my knee that's on the outside here to the inside. Both my legs here now. And I'm going to stick my foot in between his butt and his calf here. Okay, that little gap. If there's no gap, I can create that later, that's fine. But I like to stick that in here. To do that, what I do is I bring his weight a little bit forward to get there. If he's sitting his weight really far back, it can be heavy. So bring it forward, then sit it there. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull his armpit towards me. I'm gonna push his arm out that way, creating a bend in his body that makes him face this way, as you can see what happens here, okay? At the same time, I'm going to generate leverage through my left foot that's on the ground, and I'm going to kick my right foot like I'm kicking a soccer ball or a football or someone's head back in pride. I kick right out like this, and I'm going to catch his left foot. I'm going to show you now in slow motion, if I can create slow motion, how to do that. I fall back, I push, I kick my right leg forward, okay? Now what I want to make sure, we go back here, I want to make sure I kick his right leg enough that his left leg falls in between my legs, okay? So I'm here, I kick out, see what happens here. I've kicked this enough that this comes here now. If I don't kick enough, his leg's going to be here, and then I would just take a sweep, or I've got to be careful that he doesn't come back on top. If I did just get to this far, I would simply hip escape out, bring this on the inside, and then come up here. But what we want to do is we want to pick up the Ashigarami. Okay, so once here, across, I bring him forward, I go straight to the lats, okay? I hip escape out a little bit to bring my right knee over the top of his. I bring his weight forward, get my foot in between his legs here, okay? Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna extend out, pull him, kick him really far forwards here. And now in this position, watch what I do. I can use my hands sometimes, but this knee is what I want to catch under the back leg here, whack, lock this here, to stop him from extending. If he's smart, he's going to try and extend and kick this back here and land in this position, okay? But if we go back to where we were, this leg's on the inside here. I lock this, and this foot goes straight in here, like I'm doing a triangle here, okay? Once I get here, I turn towards him, so the camera can see us. We're in this position here, and then I can start attacking footlocks and stuff like that. If you want to see that, go check out Craig Jones's DVD. He's got all the finishes from here. Show how to sweep someone and Kimura them with a reverse grip that's actually called a Russian tie, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the exact same thing as what I normally do with a 2-on-1. I get two hands with an overhand grip, I bring it across my body, go to a 2-on-1. I bring him forward, and now what I'm going to look at doing is I'm going to look at bending his arm, okay? If his arm is straight, I'll just go back and do some of the other submissions or sweeps. But from here, I want to bend his arm. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to almost karate chop it in half, okay? So boom, bend it here, okay? That's what I want to cause. If you can or you can't do it, doesn't matter. If you can't do it and he's tensing his arm, just go to something else. If you can do it, bend it, and then I'm going to feed my arm straight through. Now, as you can see, I've got both thumbs on the outside, and I've got both underhand grips, so my palms are facing upward. I'm here, I push through, there's a little gap in here, I grab that. If this feels uncomfortable for you, you can do this. I just think this is much more beneficial, because what I don't want him to do is I don't want him to take away this angle on the arm and slide out. If I have this, it's a lot harder to keep that angle. If I lock it under here, now it's better. So when I am doing this, I'm also trying to use the sharp part of my bone here on the soft part of his forearm, nice here, okay? So if I'm doing that nice and tight, it's hard for him. The moment he starts trying to pull back, it almost submits him by having pain in his own forearm here, especially if you're as active with your forearms as what Josh is, okay? Now what I'm gonna look at doing is I'm gonna look at making space to get this arm through under here. And to do that, it's gonna require some movement from my legs. So I'm here, I hold this position here. Now what do I do with my bottom leg? This bottom left leg is gonna go in between this gap here, on the hip, okay? The hip and thigh and a bit of his ass if he had one. So I'm right here. Now what I'm gonna look at doing is I'm gonna make some space underneath him. Okay, what should I do this? I bring myself underneath him, I plant my legs, okay? And I've got this hand successfully through the back. I'm gonna push with my left hand and pull down with my right elbow and start rolling towards the camera here. Here, he's gonna have to roll. I land here, I keep him pinned, and I keep turning, and the submission will eventually come on. Okay, so what I'm going to look at now is another 2-on-1 gripping position to a knee bar, okay? So what I'm going to do is the usual, I'm going to collect his hand. Now it's always depending on where his hand is. Maybe his hand's here, so I'll use the same as what the Russians do. I'll grab my hand on his wrist, one under the tricep. I'm going to turn my head this way to take away the space in the back of my neck and pull it across, okay? If he was here, I would just grab a hold of this here, okay? If he was trying to get an underhook, here, I'll block the underhook, grab the hand, and back here. This isn't the hardest part to get. This is quite easy to get here. Once I get him across here, I go to the 2-on-1, and now I'm gonna pull him forward to this position here. Once I've got him bent over, I wanna stop him from posturing up, so I'm gonna reach underneath his armpit or his lat once again, and lock it nice and tight, okay? Once I feel like I've got this secured, now it frees up my legs a little bit. What I'm gonna do is gonna hip escape out a little bit. I'm gonna put my knee on the inside, and then flick my foot to the outside of his calf, as you can see right here. I have him here. So you can see where I've placed my leg now. So now I have his arm here, I've got his body locked here, and I've got that leg here. Now what I'm going to look at doing is I'm going to look at moving his weight this way. So I'm bringing his weight on top of my leg where I'm very strong. From there, I'm going to pull my knee towards my chest. Using my leverage from the bottom leg on the ground, I pull him over here, okay? So now I have his weight. Then I'm going to pull him back here. I'm going to kick my right leg out and I'm going to catch his other leg here, okay? So I land in this position where I've now locked the leg in here nice and tight. I've got his upper body, and I'm going to switch to this side, where I can lock up this knee bar. This is one of the strongest knee bars. If I only have it here, it's not that strong, but I can lock it underneath my leg. This is very strong. Now there always is a chance of them rolling out from this position. If they were rolling this way, you know, so be it. You kind of come up here, I have 50-50. From here, I can go for an ankle lock. There's a lot of different possibilities from here. Every single move can be countered and can be defended, so I'm not going to go deep into that. But just play around with that, get to that position, try and find the knee bar, learn how to keep that. If you can't, move on, okay? I'll show that again. 2-on-1, across, back of the tricep, pull him forward. Lock his upper body back up. Once I feel I've locked here, I can use this to change the leg position. Now I'm gonna bring him over the top of my body, kick him out, grab this leg here before he kicks it back. Lock these legs together. I'm bringing my left leg, and I'm trying to lock it in between his legs and pinch my knees together to bring down the chance of him rolling out. Grab the arm, I've got good control of if he's going to try and roll out now, I'm going to try and keep his foot from turning either way. Okay, that's going to stop him from going anywhere. Okay, then I lock it under the armpit. I'm going to push my hips forward this way and my shoulder back until I get that tap. Okay, now what I'm going to show you is how to go from a 2-on-1 to a gift wrap and then finish with a knee bar. This is such a powerful position, but it is also difficult to do. But like everything, the most important thing in jiu-jitsu is hiding your intentions. If he knows what I'm going to do, I've got to move to something else. So that's why it's really important to make sure that what I do right now is well hidden. Okay, so I'm going to start with a normal 2-on-1 that I've been doing with an overhand grip of the wrist. I move the arm to this side to go on a 2-on-1 right here. Okay, one on his tricep, one on his wrist. Very hard for him to move back. I'm now going to pull him forward and fall to my side. Whack, here. Once I get him here, I go to a grip on the armpit. I want to lock his upper body down so he can't posture up. Now I have him nice and tight here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to change my leg position. I'm going to go back to the Z-guard position, here, okay? Now this is the important part. I want to get his left arm to my arm underneath his armpit. But to do that is going to be quite difficult. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull his arm towards me like this, so he starts pushing it back himself naturally. I could also accompany this with pushing him forward so he bases out further with that. I can move him forward, so now I've got more room. So I'm pulling this arm forward, I'm moving him that way so he does base out. Then in one shoot, I'm going to push this through here, okay, and collect right here, okay. Once I get this, I keep it nice and tight here. Try and get that back, Josh. It's very difficult. Once I have that here, I'm going to pull his weight on top of me right here, collect his bottom leg, kick my right knee out, and now I'm just going to lock this and pull it towards me. How does that feel?
Yeah, terrific.
This is good. Really good hamstring stretch as well.
Class.
So the most important thing is making sure that you hide your intentions with all of this. So once again, I'm here, I grab the wrist, I'm nice and relaxed with it. He might be trying to go back and forth, make him feel comfortable. Then when I can, I get the tricep. Then in one movement, I pull him forward, okay? So he has to base his weight out here. And he's lost the posture position. Now his back is in a weak posture position. I lock it up. Once I'm here, I feel nice and comfortable. I can loosen my legs. I go to a Z-guard position, okay? Now, once again, I push my chest forward and I pull his arm back towards me so he wants to pull that back. What does that make you want to do, Josh? Pull it back in. That's where I want him to pull, because as he pulls, I push myself, I collect his arm in the gift wrap position here, okay? And then I'm going to sweep him back here, grab this leg. Made a little mistake. I'm going to sweep him back here. I'm going to grab his leg this way and then lock the leg here and now grab it. If we do go back, I also have the option, if you guys want to play with this at home, is just going from here, just pulling him back and taking his back, okay? So this kind of stuff, you can stretch his arms here, you can play around here. Whatever's going to be more humiliating for them in class is probably the best option to go for. Maybe I can even grab his arm leg here. Look, I'm just making shit up. Have fun with it, that's the point, okay? But hide your intentions.
Wash your feet.
No, don't wash my feet, this is great. Okay, now I'm going to show you guys a grip that I've been working on. Now, I haven't seen anyone teach this, so you guys are first to see this right now. Now, what it is, it's a grip that I use when they try and counter the 2-on-1 grip. So when I get the 2-on-1 grip to this position here, a lot of people are going to try and counter that by trying to create leverage to get this arm back. So he's going to push away off my neck or off my face like this and try and pull his arm back. Okay, I'll show you what he's trying to do. Go do it. Yeah, he's going to slide this back here. So what I do is I hold this nice and tight. When he does this, he starts pushing back. I let this arm go. This has to be quite tight, okay, at this point. So I'm nice and tight already. I let this arm go. I grab his forearm nice and tight. I pull this down. The right arm goes through and catches his tricep. Now this is quite strong. Do note though, I have to keep my right elbow up in the air. If I keep it down like this, he will slide this out and I'll have to do something else. I keep it up in the air. Now if he tries to, it's harder. As I do this, I'm going to fall to this side here and I'm going to use my right leg to sweep him, like this. Okay? Once I get to this position, I'm going to keep his arm and switch to a Kimura position. Once I have this Kimura position, I'm going to bring my right leg up here. Okay? Now, I'm not great at doing this because I'm old and my knee is buggered. But basically, I'm going to bring this up here, switch back to this side, and put my left leg over the top, pinch my knees together, holding this super tight, go to the wrist. Once I have this, I've got to make sure he doesn't twist it either way. I want his thumb directly in the air, nice and tight, and I slowly pull back or push my hips forward. Okay? Just a better detail for that Kimura position where I change. So once again, I go to here, I go to a 2-on-1. He goes to push me away. I reach through, grab this, lock on that. Okay, I'm holding his tricep, and I'm holding his forearm to me. I turn my right elbow up in the air to try and take away the angle for him to escape. As I do that, I fall to the ground, I kick him over. Now you can see, move your left arm, Josh. You can see the position I have now. All I do is this right arm goes through, and I lock it here. Okay, now I have this position here. Now depending on what Lockie does, Josh. Lockie's so ugly, I'm sorry. Lockie Giles is terrible. Okay, from here, depending on what Josh does, will depend on what I do here. So what would you feel like you want to do? Okay, I'm going to block that here real quick, because he's going to try and turn towards me. Bring my right knee through here. And then I can put my right leg over the top of him. Lock my legs together once again, or I can bring this back over the top, turn, keep his thumb facing upwards, and then go. I'm very loose with my instructions from the armbar because there are so many different variables that can change in that, and you have to be able to adapt. Okay, don't become so linear to this is the only way I do arm bars. I can do like 15 to 20 different variations of it, as long as you understand the core fundamentals of what you're trying to do, which is hyperextend their elbow. Okay, if we're back here, and I'm going for this arm bar, basically I'm trying to get his arm to extend out here and to hyperextend the elbow. If he is able to turn the angles, these are going to create different problems for me. So I don't want him to do that. If my legs are loose and he can get his elbow out, then I'm in a lot of trouble as well. So I need to make sure that one, my groin is so close to his shoulder that he can't get his elbow out. My knees are so pinched together so that he can't squeeze that around. I've got to make sure that he can't turn his thumb either way. It's nice and tight. I've also got to make sure he can't stack me. To stop that, I must have pressure on his head here. If he does come up and I don't have pressure, I'm in a bad spot now. When we go back, and now you start coming up, I put pressure back here, and then I can finish it, okay? Play around with that heaps, because you're gonna make heaps of mistakes, and you need to learn from those mistakes to have a full understanding of how to apply that armbar. So now I'm going to show you guys an arm drag. Okay, now this is not a regular arm drag that most people are used to. The regular arm drag is pulling the arm across the body and then going towards the back, which I find extremely difficult against someone that's good. This arm drag is great because he feels like it's the right thing to do and he feels like he's safe, yet he isn't. And I'm going to show you how to do that here. I call this grip the fishing pole position. Okay, so I'm in this position here, I grab his wrist and I go to the armpit here. Now, usually when I do this, people don't really care because his arm's so far over here. He's thinking in his head, oh, as long as my arm doesn't get pulled across this part of his body, he's fine. Not today, Josh. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull him towards me as if I'm doing the arm drag, but I'm gonna push his arm out, like this, in this position here. Now, this doesn't feel dangerous to you, does it, Josh? No. There's nothing really need to worry about in this position. But it's such a strong position, okay? Because even if I'm here and you try and pull your posture back, come with you, okay? I just bring myself with you, so it's gonna be very tiring for you. What I'm gonna look at doing is I'm gonna look at hip escaping out and kicking you towards the wall here with my right leg. So I'm here and I do this, hip escape out, okay? And Josh is gonna do exactly what he just did. He's gonna grab my hips because he doesn't want me to arm drag him, but he doesn't realize that he's still in a lot of trouble here. Now Josh isn't just gonna do this, he's also gonna come up with that leg here and try and block me from coming up here. So now he's got his leg to block me and that arm. So there's no way I can get to his back. Wrong. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna hip escape even more, keeping his arm here and keeping my right arm tucked. Now this has taken away a lot of the leverage that he has. I'm gonna sit up, grab his leg, and post here. Now Josh has this underhook here, but how bad does it feel, Josh? I've taken away all of the strength in his arm. And I'm actually going to start driving my chest towards him and my hips up, which is going to make him feel like he's going to get arm barred in this position here. But as I come up here, he's going to turn towards me. I usually make sure I keep my arm ready for an underhook. I just don't want it to be in this position and he goes to my back or something. So I've got to make sure I'm ready to catch the underhook. Show this again. I'm in this, I grab here, I push him out. Okay? And now I start turning out here, he does that. He blocks this, exactly what I want him to do. This leg comes up, exactly what I want him to do. I keep this right arm tight, I come under the leg. You see, I use my leg to catch it a little bit. If I want to do that, it's fine. Maybe it's already here, so I can't. I hip escape more. Okay, the key is in hip escape. If I don't hip escape, nothing's gonna happen. I push my hips out here. I keep lots of pressure with my right arm, grab his left leg here. As he turns, my right arm goes straight underneath here. And now I have a really good passing position. I'm going to show you that from this angle. Here, I push him out here, I fall back, okay? Feels quite safe here. Now I kick him this way and I hip escape out. He blocks me the way I thought he would, I come up. Once I come to this position here and I reach with my left hand, I can now let this arm go. His arm's stuck here anyway, okay? And now I just got to start coming up, underhook, and land here. Now I'm going to show you guys how to do a Kimura from the fishing pole grip or the arm drag grip that we're using, okay? So once again, we're in this position, I've got butterfly guard. What I'm going to look at doing now, which is quite simple, is I'm just going to grab his arm like this. This is an overhand grip this time. You can still use the underhand grip, I just feel like at this time, because I want to push it out, it's going to make it harder, because the only way he's really going to bring that back is try and pull it in, which is going to break my thumb position, okay? So where before I was talking about not doing this, this is where I feel like it's more important, okay? Because I'm going to push this out. I'm here, I grab an overhand grip, my arm goes underneath his armpit. The thing he's most worried about is me arm dragging him. He thinks I'm going to do the traditional arm drag, so he's going to keep this hand out as much as he can, which is beneficial for what I want to do, because I want to push this arm out. I want to go to here and hold this position, because here is a strong position for me. Josh, try and get anything back out of this position here. You feeling me? Now, sometimes what will happen here is people will get in a bit of a panic and they'll try and roll this wrist back on the inside. And try and come back on the inside of this and try and avoid me from arm dragging. Especially once I've done this arm drag a few times, they start getting scared, man. They start panicking, taking Valium before training, everything happens. I'm here, I hold this. If he does start to do that, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pretend like I'm fighting it, and then this arm is gonna go on the outside, back into a Kimura position. Note the one thumb change. When I grab this here, I grab it tight to start off with, then I bring the thumb on the outside. So I'm here, thumb on the outside. This will give you a much better grip. I can reach right over now. I reach right over, nice and tight here. I fall back. I keep this arm clear. He's going to try and tuck it in and try and tack me, which is going to hurt my own shoulder. So I make sure I keep this out here. I push. This doesn't stop him from rolling. I can possibly lock on here and stop him and finish him here, but I would rather let him roll to this position, okay? This is a funny variation for the Kimura, okay? Because I'm sitting here, I call this like, you know, like TV, I'm watching TV here and stuff like that with the girlfriend, but I'm gonna hurt her arm, okay? I'm gonna push her arm to the ground, I'm gonna turn both my wrists up, okay? So imagine you're doing the opposite to what you would do when you're revving a motorcycle. I'm gonna push this up and I'm gonna turn my right arm up in the air. It's very hard for Josh to roll out of this position because he's locked here. I've got weight with my left armpit on his shoulder and I'm sitting here. I like this position. It's like this position. It's like the Netflix and chill position. I'm sitting there, what's on Netflix? Changing the channel, changing the channel. Bang, submission. That's what's on Netflix. Now I'm going to show you a really effective sweep into an armbar. The thing I like about this sweep is that it's a very common way for people to defend. I was actually rolling earlier today and the same position happened with the cameraman. But I'm going to show you what happens here. When I go for this 2-on-1 position, once again, overhand grips, I bring him forward, I grab the tricep and I pull him to the side as I cut a bit of an angle. See, I'm on my side, this is nice and tight here. Now what happens a lot of time, because what I want to do is I want to bring him really far forward, but he starts planting his hand and he's not pushing back, he's pushing his butt further back to make it hard for him to get this. So in this situation, what I like doing is I like going with him. Now this can happen when you have a 2-on-1 here, or it can happen when I have a 2-on-1 here. Regardless, I'm gonna go from here, grab this arm. Okay, so I grab it, I'm gonna pull it out from underneath him. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drop his weight to the left and my weight, and I'm gonna use my right leg to kick. You see my right leg is on the inside of his hamstring. It's a really good hook. I'm gonna generate leverage through my left foot on the ground, up in the air, and push him like this, okay? So I'm here, he plants his arm, he's trying to get back, I collect this. Not today, mofo. Bang, over the top here. He lands, I bring my right leg right close to him here. My hand's holding his chest, left leg over the front. His arm's stuck here this time. Pop. Sometimes it won't be, sometimes it'll be a bit looser. So then I gotta collect it and finish it. Once again, in these positions, there's so many different variations, there's so many different variables that come into play. I want you guys to practice this as much as you can and play around with it. Make heaps of mistakes so you have a fundamental understanding. We learn so much more through trial and error than what we do through repetition. So get in here, make heaps of mistakes, let him escape a few times and figure out what you need to do. Basically, knees together, thumb up in the air. If the thumb's up in the air, it's very hard for him to roll out. If the knees are pinched together, it's very hard for him to slide out. If my groin is nice and tight to him, it's very hard for him to get his elbow free. If my left leg is nice and tight on his head, it's very hard for him to stack me. If I can do all these things quite well, I'm probably gonna armbar him, or wrist lock him, or thumb bust him. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed the Russian gripping system. It's changed my game dramatically, and I know if you practice, it'll do the same thing for you. So thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please check out my other products at kitdaletraining.com. I really recommend The Art of Learning Jiu-Jitsu Volume 1 and 2 if you haven't seen it, as we focus more on how to learn Jiu-Jitsu, how to structure training to get the best possible memory retention, and a lot of other things. Otherwise, we have the guard passing masterclass, the no-gi guard passing masterclass, the Z guard masterclass with myself and Craig Jones, and the back taking masterclass with myself and Craig Jones. Also, don't forget the gripping masterclass, where we talk a lot more about the traditional grips in Jiu-Jitsu, not so much what we just did in this. This is a lot more of an advanced one, but if you feel like it was too advanced, go back and check that one out. There's a lot more simplified grips for that. Otherwise, thank you so much, really appreciate it, and I'll see you on the mat soon.